What if I told you that the most important battle you'll face today won't happen in the world outside, but in your own mind? And what if I told you Psalm 27 holds the keys to win that battle before it even starts? Pause everything. Breathe for a moment. Because what you're about to hear is not just a verse. It's a shift, a spiritual awakening, a deep remembering of who you really are, and what's been walking with you all along. Psalm 27 begins with words that slice through fear like light through fog. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Right there, everything changes. Because fear thrives in darkness, and darkness is just the absence of clarity. But when you declare that God is your light, you don't just acknowledge divine presence. You declare that confusion, uncertainty, and chaos no longer have the final word. You're not walking alone today. You're not making decisions in isolation. You're not at the mercy of your emotions. You have a light, a guide, a force that sees what you can't, knows what you don't, and protects you from what you'll never even see coming. So, whom shall you fear? Not the opinions of others, not the rejection, not the economy, not the silence, not the unknown. Because what walks with you is greater than what comes against you. Psalm 27 continues, The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? You've been through storms. You've had nights where the walls felt like they were closing in. You felt abandoned, misunderstood, overlooked. But here's the truth. You made it. You didn't collapse. You didn't vanish. You didn't get swallowed by the chaos. Because there was a stronghold around you. One you couldn't always see, but it was always there. A spiritual fortress built not of stone, but of faith, of unseen power. A protection that doesn't always prevent the battle, but ensures you rise from it every time. You've seen people doubt you. You've seen doors slam. You felt empty and yet still stood up. Why? Because something was holding you even when you didn't know how to hold yourself. That's not weakness. That's grace. Psalm 27 doesn't promise the absence of enemies. It doesn't say you'll avoid adversity. What it says is even more powerful. When the wicked advance against me to devour me, it is my enemies and my foes who will stumble and fall. Read that again. Let it hit your soul. Not if they come, when they do. God never promised ease. He promised presence. He promised you'd be surrounded, but still protected. Attacked, but not abandoned. He said they'd come for you, but he also said they'd fall. And here's what most people don't understand. The attacks are often confirmation. They come when you're getting close to your purpose, close to a breakthrough, close to awakening a part of yourself that the darkness desperately wants to keep buried. That's why you get hit hardest right before the shift. But listen, it is not you who will fall. It is what stands against you that will collapse. Psalm 27 goes deeper. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's divine assurance. It's the kind of calm that doesn't come from control, but from connection. You're not confident because you know what will happen. You're confident because you know who is with you no matter what happens. Even if everything crashes, even if the ones you trusted walk away, even if the world misunderstands your purpose, you will not fear. Why? Because the one within you is greater than what surrounds you. That's not just a verse, that's a weapon. And Psalm 27 just handed it to you. But it doesn't stop there. Psalm 27 reveals something profound, a secret most people missed because they're so focused on what they want from life that they forget what the soul truly desires. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. Pause. The psalmist doesn't ask for riches, fame, revenge, or even victory. He asks for presence, for nearness, for divine intimacy. That's the truth your soul has been quietly screaming, You don't just want peace, you want presence. You don't just want success, you want safety. You don't just want power, you want purpose. And all of that is found in the presence of God. Because when you dwell in that space, when your spirit is aligned, when your heart is anchored in truth, the storms lose their grip on your nervous system. The insults don't hit the same. The deadlines don't bury you. The anxiety doesn't choke you. Because your roots go deeper than circumstance. Psalm 27 says, "This is where your spirit sees the beauty of the Lord." That beauty isn't physical. It's spiritual clarity. It's the ability to recognize divine fingerprints in everyday chaos, to see grace in the pain, to feel purpose in the pause, to walk into your day not needing proof, but standing in peace. And the psalmist adds something most don't say out loud. In the day of trouble, he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent. This is divine protection not just from enemies, but from yourself, from your own overthinking, from your own triggers, from your impulse to self-destruct, from your tendency to forget who you are under pressure. God says, "Come close. I'll shield you, even from yourself." This is what changes your mornings. You don't wake up chasing the world. You don't reach for your phone before your soul. You rise with stillness, with truth, with Psalm 27 in your spirit, like armor. Because once you understand this, that the light walks with you, that fear is an illusion, that divine presence is your stronghold, you stop moving like a victim. You stop rushing through life trying to earn peace. You walk like someone who already has it. You speak slower. You listen deeper. You choose differently. Not because your circumstances changed, but because your center did. There's a shift that happens when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you start declaring, "This is forming something in me." That's the heart of Psalm 27. It doesn't remove the tension of life. It reframes it. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not abandoned in the dark. You are being hidden in the secret place. There's a difference. Psalm 27 says, "He will set me high upon a rock." That's elevation. But notice, it doesn't say you will climb to the top by your own effort. It says he will lift you. This is spiritual promotion. It's divine positioning. You've been trying to prove your worth, trying to convince others that you're enough, trying to force open doors that were never meant for you. But when God sets you on a rock, you don't have to manipulate, chase, or plead. Your elevation is a result of alignment, not anxiety. Sometimes, the reason nothing worked before is because God didn't want you to think you did it. He wanted you to know it was Him. He is the one who lifts. He is the one who positions. He is the one who hides you until the time is right, and then reveals you in power. Don't confuse hidden with forgotten. You're not late. You're being preserved. There is a divine rock being prepared for you, not so people can admire you, but so you can stand through storms without sinking. Because once you're placed there, your stability isn't based on applause or outcomes. It's rooted in something unshakable. And listen to this next line of Psalm 27. "Then my head will be exalted above the enemies who surround me." There are enemies all around, but your head is lifted above them. That means you're not drowning in their words. You're not triggered by their energy. You're not suffocating under their judgment. You are being given a higher vantage point. You see things differently now. Where you used to panic, you now pause. Where you used to retaliate, you now respond. Where you used to shrink, you now stand. Because your perspective has been elevated. Not because you're better, but because you're anchored. And then it says, "At his sacred tent, I will sacrifice with shouts of joy. I will sing and make music to the Lord." Don't miss this. This is a breakthrough. Joy becomes your offering. In a world drowning in complaining and comparison, Psalm 27 teaches you to praise in the middle of pressure. Not after the breakthrough, during the battle. That's the shift. You don't wait for things to be perfect before you praise. You use your praise as a weapon. You celebrate the promised before it even manifests. Because deep down, you know, He's never failed you. And now comes the raw part, the part many people feel but are too afraid to say. Hear my voice when I call, Lord, be merciful to me and answer me. That's not someone pretending to be strong. That's someone being honest. That's a soul crying out for connection. You've been there. You've had moments when it felt like your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling. When you whispered into the night, God, are you even listening? Psalm 27 shows you. It's okay to ask. It's okay to plead. You don't have to fake it in front of God. He already knows your heart. Real strength is not silence. It's surrender. And the psalmist says, my heart says of you, seek His face. Your face, Lord, I will seek. That's the moment everything turns. That's where transformation really begins. Because once your heart starts longing for God, not just for relief, not just for answers, not just for escape, but for Him, you become unstoppable. You can lose a job, but not your peace. You can face rejection, but not collapse in shame. You can walk through fire and not smell like smoke. Because your identity is no longer wrapped in what people think or what life looks like. It's wrapped in presence. And now the psalmist gets vulnerable again. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my helper. Do not reject me or forsake me, God my Savior. Can you feel the weight of that? It's the voice of someone who knows what divine intimacy feels like and never wants to lose it again. Because once you've tasted that kind of peace, that kind of stillness, nothing else satisfies. You can't go back to surface level living. You can't numb yourself with distractions. You can't fake joy anymore. You crave real. You crave depth. You crave God. And then comes one of the most healing, powerful, tear-inducing verses in all of Scripture. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Let that sink in. Maybe your earthly relationships have failed you. Maybe the people who were supposed to protect you left. Maybe the ones who should have seen your worth couldn't. And maybe that wound still lingers. But Psalm 27 says, you're still seen. You're still wanted. You're still received. God doesn't need a reason to love you. He already does. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to beg for it. You just have to return to it. Because even if every other source of security walks away, He won't. Now the psalmist asks something you might be afraid to ask. Teach me your way, Lord. Lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. He doesn't say, remove my enemies. He says, guide me through them. That's a whole different kind of trust. You're not asking for the chaos to stop. You're asking for the clarity to walk through it without losing your soul. This is where inner transformation really happens. When you stop asking life to be easier and start asking for strength, wisdom, and divine direction within the storm. Because when God teaches you His way, fear loses its power. Manipulation stops working. Trauma stops leading your decisions. You start moving from a place of divine order, not emotional reaction. This is how you rise. Psalm 27 closes with a call to courage, a declaration of hope that shifts your entire inner landscape. It says, I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Confidence is the result of experience. It's not wishful thinking. It's not blind optimism. It's a settled knowing, forged in fire and tested in trials, that no matter how dark it gets, light is coming. Goodness isn't a distant dream. It's a present reality waiting to be unveiled. You might be walking through seasons where goodness feels hidden, where pain, loss, or confusion cloud your vision. But Psalm 27 reminds you, the light you carry isn't conditional on your circumstances. It's unconditional because it's rooted in God's promise. And then comes the climactic charge, the spiritual drill down that stirs the soul to action. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. Waiting isn't passive. Waiting is courage wrapped in patience. It's a fierce strength that says, I'm not moving out of fear. I'm standing still in faith. It's the quiet roar that silences the chaos. Waiting means you're actively trusting the timing of divine intervention. Not rushing, not forcing, not shrinking back. You are rooted in hope, even when it feels invisible. You are anchored in faith, even when doubt screams. Because here's the truth few speak aloud. Your waiting is part of the breakthrough. It's not wasted time. It's preparation. It's refining. It's deepening. And if you've ever felt frustrated with waiting, this is your permission to stop beating yourself up. To stop feeling like you're falling behind. To stop comparing your pace to others. God's timing is perfect. His timing is just. His timing is merciful. And while you wait, you become stronger. You become wiser. You become more aligned. You learn to discern truth from noise. You learn to hear God's voice above the crowd. You learn to walk with confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because the one who holds perfection walks with you. Psalm 27 isn't just a prayer. It's a blueprint for spiritual victory. It's an invitation to step into your inner fortress every morning, fully armored in faith, hope, and love. It's a call to replace anxiety with assurance, to stop chasing the world's approval and start seeking divine presence. It's a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn is near, because the Lord is your light. So how do you start your day with Psalm 27? Not by rushing through it, not by memorizing it like a routine, but by letting it sink deep into your spirit. Read it slowly, speak it boldly, let it echo in your soul.